If your RV refrigerator has failed, this is the video for you. I'm going to show you how to remove the fridge, how to clean everything up and get it ready for a new cooling unit. And then we're going to have a whole bunch of other information on how to deal with parts that don't fit, sealing and getting new screws and reattaching everything, getting a new electric heater, preparing the box of the refrigerator to accept the new cooling unit. So there's going to be a lot of information in this video, and if you want to learn how to put it back right, this is it. I noticed the fridge had thawed out. Everything was warm inside. The freezer section had water on the bottom, and so I came out here to check what's up, and here we have this yellow powder here. So that tells me that our refrigerant system, the ammonia in here, has leaked out from somewhere. I'm not sure. Looks like from down in here, where it goes into the burner and up. All right, let me do this one-handed here. Put the screwdriver, square drive in here. It's still warm. Stupid thing. Couldn't happen after the trip. It has to happen before the trip. All right. Okay, that'll hold that. Okay, take this little cover off and see what we can see with the pipe inside of here. Crumb. I was looking forward to getting out of town. Okay. So you see the burner right here and the thermocouple. See the slots on the burner and the thermocouple above it. Here's kind of the schematic of the fridge, and I have here's the burner right here, and this pipe that goes into the burner is where the failure occurred. So there is the model of fridge that I've got. RM2652. So it's about a 22 or 23-year-old fridge. So yeah, it's a good long lifetime. That is a very long life for a fridge. Okay, let's turn off the propane here. So we're just going to shut the valves off up top. Here's the first tank. Second tank. Okay. Propane is off. Remove the fridge cover. Okay, so let's undo the latch for the fridge cover plate. And pull that out of there. And set it aside. Okay, let's unplug the fridge. Okay, so there is the hot wire. All right, and let's tape up these 12-volt power wires. Get the negative. that's on household electrical wire. The wire convention is black is hot and white is the neutral wire. And in automotive, it's generally the red is the hot and the black is the ground wire, neutral return wire. And so when the 12-volt vehicle wiring comes into the RV at the RV house batteries, it changes from automotive standard to residential standard, and so the hot becomes a black color and the neutral becomes the white color. Now let's get the gas line here. It's a flare nut fitting. And hopefully my trusty camera is pointed with the right angle. You need two hands to be able to do this, and you also need two hands to properly handle a camera. So okay, so when you're unscrewing the flare nut, you want to make sure that you have two wrenches on it, because the force to loosen this nut is enough to break that nut, is enough to mess up the fitting on the fridge. And there should be maybe two screws holding the fridge down. One over here, yep, and one over here. So there is the square drive. And that's all the screw they have holding it in. So I'll just leave the screw over here with the cover. You see the screw there with the cover. Let's pull this one. Okay, so those two screws are just barely holding anything in. Okay, so I'll pull that, and we'll just rest the screw right behind this and right behind that. Okay, so let's get started on pulling the fridge apart. Okay, well, this is going to be real handy because the door hinges are really tight. The fridge won't open any wider than that. Okay, so let's yank out the... Okay, now this cover should pop off, so let's see what we got going here. Okay, so there's a little metal tab in there that you push up right there, and out comes that. Then there's two screws at the top. So there's a seal there. Okay, so it's the same large Phillips or Torx drive. Or not Torx, a square. Okay, so let's just get that on out. Okay, so there's one, and put that in the tub. And here's the second one. So there's two down here on the bottom. So let's get these two. This fridge is from 2000, and I've had it since 2007. The original evaporator system. And there's the hole on the hinge, and the other screw is right in that hole. So let's back that out. And the fridge should be removable as soon as I get this here screw out of it. There we go. Alrighty. Now it should slide out of here now. I think I'm going to just pop this right back in. And put this back up there. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So there are only those two screws on the bottom. So the fridge ought to be sliding out of there fairly simply now. I don't see any other screws to the sides. Yeah. Okay, I might need to go grab a flat bar. Let me go grab a flat bar to pry with. So this is going to have to come off because the fridge won't come out with it in. Okay, so I am having to do this a little destructively because it is screwed from the outside into this, which is not very conducive to taking it apart. So it looks like there's 3 screws here. I snapped the first one, so I'll try to snap this one and this one, and that'll get that out of there, and then I'll deal with getting it back in later. So let's try and get the other screw here to snap again. There we go. All right. Okay. So let me, all right, maybe this will do it. All right, there we go. Now we're getting some action. In there, lift up, and then pull out. And maybe that will help. Okay. Okay, good. So I think I've got enough out that I can start yanking this thing here. Okay. We're getting there. So right about now is where we would be running into conflict with the window, and as it is, I have to pull that. So let's get the screwdriver back over here. Is that screwdriver again? By George, it's a screwdriver. Let's pull the curtain rod holders. There's the screw there.
put those up into there and keep on pulling. Okay, so there we go. That looks pretty good. So now, how heavy is this thing anyway? It doesn't feel incredibly bad, but it's heavier than just old Jeff wants to mess with by himself. Jeff has gotten a little bit older now these days and not quite as tough as he used to be. So I'm going to stack stuff there, put a board across to the bench, and then pull the fridge out, turn it, and then lay it down this way. So I will have to move this stuff here out of the way and get ready for it. So let me shut off the camera and do some prep work. Alright, this is how I am going to get the fridge out. I have a platform set up that is just about the same height, a little bit lower than the fridge. So I'm going to bring the first I'm going to unscrew the cooling unit from the fridge. Then I'll pull the fridge the rest of the way out, and then I'm going to turn it and lay it down on its face, which is probably going to be a little bit of a trick, but I'll figure it out. Okay, we are removing the screws in the freezer. I'm just using the screw gun here. So these are coming out pretty quick and easy. I believe these just like pop out or something. Yeah, there we go. There's that one. Okay. Put that out, then I should have fairly straightforward access to the screws here. The problem though is that, let's see if it'll go. Crap. See if I have a longer extension. I'm determined to get in there because I don't really have a good screwdriver for getting in there. You see in there the screws are out of the cooling unit. It's still attached and those screws are out. And remember, we slid that up out of the way. Okay. So we are ready to pull the fridge out the rest of the way. And hopefully good things will happen. Okay. All right. The Eagle has landed. Now let's see if we can get this out a bit and begin turning it. I need to make sure that this board here is not going to slide out with the fridge. Come on, let's get this thing over there. Stupid thing. Oh, come on. Okay, I think we have the position we want. Okay, good. So now let's see if we can rotate this thing. Try not to scratch or damage anything. Okay, that is going to be a challenge. I cannot tilt it forward because as it tilts forward, the corner is going to go up into the ceiling. And I don't want that. So here's what I did. I took my block out from here. So I still got my 3/4 plywood piece there. And as you can see, it lowered it down quite a bit. And so now I can bring the thing over here onto the dinette, and I'll just put it on top of the cushion here, and that'll be fine. So let's tilt her on over. See, now that we're down lower, we clear the ceiling. Okay. There. A little bit tight of a fit for me in here getting around, but we are good to go. So we have to unscrew the back of this, and we have to keep that frame in good condition. So let's pull out these things here, put those back, and let's go for it. Use that screw. Careful of the wires. And 2 screws up at the top. Okay. There's that. There's that. Let's cut these zip ties out of here because we need to, I believe we got to get these wires all separated from the cooling unit. And just to make sure I get this right, a little video extra here. The red wire plugs into the tab here, right next to the fuse. And then the ground wire for it connects to that screw with all the other grounds on it. And then these 2 wires with the plugs, small plug here, big plug there, and they go all the way up over the top of the fridge, and the small wire here goes right in there. Okay. Well, let's see what happens here. Let's start trying to pry this up. Okay. So this area up here is where the connection to the fridge is. So we want to carefully pull this up.
Notice to assist in prying the cooling unit out from the fridge body, I have a red level that's about 3/4 inches by 1.5 inches, and at the middle of the fridge, the bottom of the cooling unit, I have another stick the same size, 3/4 by 1.5, and you put those in there to assist, to keep constant pressure pushing up.
Well, it's slowly coming out.
It took about 1.5 hours of constant prying to get it out.
Okay, is this going to pop out now? Yes! Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, open the door and let's get this thing out of here. Okay, this is heavy.
Make sure to install the cooling fins the correct way. The holes only go one way to match the cooling unit.
So another thing that I have done here too is done some repair work on the aluminum lining of the fridge, and what I have here is some Nashua aluminum tape, 324A. It's a heavy gauge aluminum tape and holds up really well. It's a much better tape than what the fridge originally had in manufacturing. And so we're gonna tape up and cover some of these here open seams and just kind of clean things up a little bit better. I've already put additional tape on each of the sides here to cover up some damages to it. Okay, another thing I'm doing right now is we've got some of these wires for the fridge, and so this wire comes out here. It's I think this is the thermostat wire, and here's the inside of the thermostat here. So this wire comes through, and there's about a 1/2 inch hole there for that tiny little wire. And what you do is you take some plumber's putty and work it in your hands, warm it up a bit, and shove it into the hole there, bringing the wire up through the center of the putty. And then what I've done is folded the wire over and taped it down with aluminum tape. So I've got a couple layers of aluminum tape here, one long strip here, and then a second strip across here to double thicken it and hold that in place. And then the circuit board is going to be right in about this area here, so there's plenty of slack that will come up for that. And then the coils and stuff will go under the coils when I mount the cooling unit back to the fridge. I am going to shove putty into the hole here. I'm going to make it kind of a snake first, and then you just shove it on in there. Get it worked into the hole. That pretty flat flush to the surface so that it will slide in. Okay, there's one. There's two. Okay. Up here and get them positioned so that they go in nicely. And this time we're going to favor the other side here a little bit. There you go. So we have got our tape down there, and it comes up here. We've got 2 layers here, and the wires are being held down into the valley nice and flush, and then it comes out the back, and then these will just go down through the coils and connect up to the circuit board that is going to be down the bottom there. Need to get some putty for that and fill this little hole here again. And this one doesn't need a lot. It's going to have a washer over it. So we put this washer on down there, press it on into the stuff. I'm going to take a little bit of that putty that's splooged out on the sides and put that there. Then here is the drain pipe for this, and we're going to push that drain pipe on down into the putty, and that will kind of help act as a seal. Spring clip here that we are going to tighten and put there, and there you go. This thing is all snugged up again. So there are a couple of areas in the fridge like this that I want to clean up and just put some fresh tape over it to seal the foam around the fridge. So it looks like $450 or $425 is the price. It actually looks like it's a pretty simple project to do.
I decided to buy a new Amish Built unit for $725. Here is the new 120 volt heating element and the extra tube of thermal mastic.
Okay, so what I did is I've used 2 tubes of the thermal mastic to make sure that I have good coverage and bondage of the material to the piping. Then another thing I did too is that I did not like the way that the backing was attached, so I have taken the aluminum tape and put aluminum tape all around. Then this here is a real hard foam, but some of the foam was oversprayed and on the mounting surface, which would not have been a good thing because that would have lifted the unit up about a 1/8 or 3/16 of an inch from the back of the fridge, and you want this metal piece as flat as you can get it against the back of the fridge. So I fixed up the backer here, and I've got that all taped in place now. You can see it up here. So that will seal now. Shake vigorously for 60 seconds. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Shake vigorously for 60 seconds. I've already done that probably, but more is better. If there's anything I don't like, it's stuff that isn't working properly. And shaking is mixing, and mixing is good. It wants me to put this stuff around the perimeter very well.
There are some videos that have suggested instead of using spray foam to use foam weather stripping, and that's not a good idea because the foam weather stripping will not conform to the foam in the cooling unit package. So you want to make sure that you use expanding foam, and it needs to be the minimal expanding foam, otherwise it will expand too much. So use the minimal expanding foam, not weather stripping, because weather stripping will not give you a good seal, and it will allow warm, moist air to penetrate behind the cooling unit, and then you're going to have water droplets condensing on all your cooling coils, which is going to promote rust, and you do not want rust. Another thing to notice here is you see how I have the heavy aluminum tape holding in the cooling fins, and everything is all taped over and covered, and I would recommend doing that too. It seals everything up. It's going to prevent foam from going through into the fridge compartment, which will be a lot less cleanup for you, and it will also promote a little bit of heat conductance between the refrigerator and the freezer cooling plates, because there is a little bit of aluminum between them, and one of the cooling coils does go over that aluminum tape in the center where you see the can right now, and that aluminum tape will conduct that cold between the two plates. Okay, just about to finish foaming here. I'm foaming like this so that there will be pressure behind the plate to hold it firmly against the front of the fridge.
Okay, I'm going to put some of this onto the cooling unit, and then I'm going to bring the cooling unit in.
let us reinstall the 4 frame screws, one in each corner. And from this point on, we will have to be making a few adaptations to the frame and some of the sheet metal parts attaching to the new Amish unit, because they do not quite line up the same to this as they did the original cooling unit.
And some of these, the holes just do not line up, so you have to drill, and you want to drill straight in. And those holes are in between all of the pipes, so there's no chance for you to hit a pipe. Alright, so there you go. I've got all new stainless steel screws and washers in there. Nice and solid. Pull the cover down, and there you go. You can drill a new hole in there. Just go straight on in, and you don't have to worry about hitting the pipe because the pipes are above and below. Okay, so we have the heating element is in there now. You can see it in the top of the tube. All right, when you are reassembling this chimney vent stack for the burner on the fridge, you have to make sure that you get all these heat shields and cover plates back in position, and they can be kind of confusing. But so we have this one here, and then we've got that one there that goes underneath, and then we have the chimney has to come all the way down and sit on top of the burner unit. It has to seal in all those holes that are there for the flame, and make sure that that is enclosed so there's no chance of any kind of a flame getting out of there. Okay, so then there's a lot of stuff you're going to have to adapt because the fit is just different. The cover for the side here where the 120 volt heating element goes in had to be cut about 3/8 of an inch up so that it would fit in here. And then the mount bracket for the valve is different. We had to drill a hole for the ground, and then we also had to loosen the screws here to line things up and position them. We had to re-drill the hole here, and what else have we got? So anyway, take pictures of your unit before and during assembly, because that's what I did, and it will make your life go a lot better when you start putting things together and you're trying to figure out what the heck does this do. Okay, so now we have the chimney here is placed all the way down flat on top of this. It wanted to be up here higher, and so one of the things that happened here is this was not aligned with the hole here, this slot. So I aligned it, and then I was able to slide the pipe down over the valve. Here's the baffle here, but I was able to slide the pipe down on that, and then we were able to get it to sit tight on top of the burner box down here. And then also we had to do this adaptation here for the 120 volt
electric heating element. Okay, so then I've got things are wired, zip tied. All the wires are inside of a protective split loom and routed neatly down here. Here is the drain, and this will just kind of sit down there. Okay, so this is the last piece that has to go on, and it will fit in here like that. And there is the hole for it. Okay. So I gotta do that, and then I have to drill a hole here for the attachment up there, and that will be it. I will have everything all done and connected on here. So, yeah, we had to do a little bit of special work to fit the mounting plate for the electronic control board and the valve and all that assembly. And to get that assembly back on the fridge, we loosened up the screw here and here, so we were able to spread the leg or the foot out. Then we could slide the control unit up under the pipes here. And remember, we had to adapt over here so that that would be held in place. And remember, the thing here, it this slides up, and then this here, you have to slot that. And so anyway, we got that wrapped up, and then over on this side here, we just put a new hole in the cooling unit frame and attached it. Okay, so just kind of take a look at things. The igniter and thermocouple go up in here, and you can see the gap between the orifice for the propane and the hole for the burner up in there. And here is the propane valve. So that's the last connection we got to make. We got to just lift the fridge up, put her in, connect the propane, connect the 12 volts, and plug in the 120 volt right there. But we're going to let the fridge sit for about 6 hours while all the fluids inside of it settle back down into the tank and do what they're going to do. And that'll do it. Okay, so the next video is going to be just kind of finishing installing the fridge into its compartment here. All nice and insulated now. You can see the heating duct there, and it comes up right next to that heating chimney on the refrigerator. So I need to address that and put a heat shield on it. You notice how the insulation board there has a burnt look to it. So I need to do something better than what they had. The fridge heating unit is supposed to have a 0 clearance, but that's apparently not so. Should help keep things colder. And one reason it's going to help keep things colder is that the space between here, the fridge is going to be touching these. It's not going to be tight, but it's not going to be snug, or it'll be snug but not loose. But it will easily slide in and out. I've already done that. And then the top part has that 1-inch insulation up there, and that is going to prevent hot air from accumulating up there. It's going to give it less space so that it will just go out the vent instead of accumulating and getting warmer. And then, since these sidewalls are touching the sidewalls of the fridge,
that is going to, in my opinion, have the effect of 3/4 of an inch additional insulation on the fridge compartment. And then the sidewall insulation there, that will have the effect of when the evening sun hits that wall, if we're pointing facing that direction, this insulation will keep the inside from heating up like it used to get really hot and food would get, ice cream would melt, and that's unacceptable. And one thing we can do is put the awning down over on that side. That helps, but it's kind of a nuisance to have to get out and put the awning down just to keep food cold. And another option is to get a Velcro strip up on the side and then keep a reflective, like some 24-inch wide reflectix to put on the outside to shade the area where the fridge is, and that can help to lower temperatures on the sidewall there too. Okay, so let me get this thing wrapped up and installed and clean out the camper. And if everything works out, I'm going to go camping this weekend. All right.
We're going to test some different types of insulations here. There's blue styrofoam insulation, and you can see that goes pretty quickly. Now we're going to test the pink styrofoam insulation, and you can see that that also goes pretty quickly. So we have the original styrofoam that came in the truck camper, and the paper on that had shown signs of intense heat from the fridge's heating unit. And you can see that doesn't hold up well either. So now we have the flame is on the Armax insulation by Sika, and you can see that the Sika does not melt or deform like the others, and the black char is actually designed to extinguish the fire itself. So it's a very good product, the Sika Armax insulation. And as a test, we are going to put the flame on some asbestos here and show you how good of an insulator asbestos is. So you can see that it is direct flame and the asbestos is largely unaffected. But unfortunately, it has health concerns. If you leave it alone, it's not a big problem. If you play with it, then you got a problem. So I'm very happy with choosing Armax to insulate around the fridge in the truck camper.
Okay, so here is what we have going so far. We're putting the circuit board, motherboard, control panel back on here. And so what we have had to do is the mount bracket they supply you is a little different, and the hole is in a different spot here. So I had to this side of the round, you can just see right down through here where I had to take my snips and cut about a 1/4 of an inch away. You see how there's gap on this side. I had to push that forward to get the flame centered under the tube. Okay, so I think you can see the flames coming out of there. Stupid thing won't focus. So if I didn't center that, then the flame would have been on this side here, not fully going up the tube. So now the flame is going up the tube completely. So I had to re-drill this hole over a little bit, 1/4 of an inch. And then also this bracket here is different than the one that came with the original unit. So I had to take the copper tube for the thermocouple. You see the thermocouple there in brass down below there, and I cleaned it off, got all the gunk off of it. The damage, you can see the yellow powder. I presume that's the ammonia is on the burner there. You see the burner right here and the thermocouple. See the slots on the burner and the thermocouple above it. So, well, crapola. So the thermocouple tube used to go out and under the valve and then over here. Couldn't happen after the trip, it has to happen before the trip. All right. So, yeah, you can see. So yeah, I'm gonna go and search the internet, see if I can find out some more information about how to handle this, and then go from there. Now it is going over, so I'm gonna have to adapt this cover here to well, actually maybe not. I'll have to see when I get it. I don't know if this is the cover or not. Okay, yeah, maybe that's the cover for it. Okay, so yes, I will dink around with that later, but that is the cover, and there's more to it than that, so I'm gonna put that back over here for now. Then okay, so we had to re-drill this hole here to get the flame centered on the tube. Then we had to reposition the thermocouple and the igniter wires. And then you see here there's the I guess the jet or orifice for the propane, and that shoots into the tube there, and it flames out there. Okay. So now I need to plug in the new electric heater, and that's going to be pretty simple. It's just these here two plugs, which need just a little more pulling power than my fingertips have. So I'll grab that and that. Okay, so we won't need those anymore, and it doesn't stipulate whether it is a positive or a negative. It just doesn't matter which terminal you plug which into. So that's what I will do, is plug one of these here and the other one there. Okay, get on there, stupid thing. There. Okay, so we have those two are connected. Then we have to connect these here, and these are pretty much self-explanatory. There's a plug there, and there's the other plug here. Which side does this go on? Oh, actually, I guess this one is just going to go there. And this plug is going to go here. Okay, so these wires are the control panel on the top of the fridge. These two are the thermostat, and this wire here, I believe, is the heating element for moisture control in the fridge. Okay, so that takes care of all this. We are all plugged back in together. Both fuses are good. Everything is nice and connected and routed properly. So now, and then this thing here grounds over there to that. So I have a couple of ground wires I need to connect in here yet. And then we will be ready to go. So then for the circuit board here, the frame for it, okay, so this is what they give you. There's a little slot here to slide this side of the circuit board in. However, it doesn't fit in there right off the bat. You have to cut it and cut a slot here so that it can slide up in there, because this is solid metal from here over. You need to open that up and make a channel. So that went in okay. Then over on this side, we had to cut this one up to make room for the screw head. And so let's see. Anyway, that's what we got going with the wire now. So there's two more screws that go into the base of the circuit board, and that will hold it in secure. So we're almost there. Okay. All right. Let's continue on here. I'll put the camera away, and because I have to work both hands, and that's just the way it is. But I'll finish prepping this. I'm going to put the cover back on here, and then we will be ready to put the fridge in position. So that's going to be an exciting moment. All right, hang on for later developments in this exciting video. Okay, so we are putting things back together here, and yeah, there are things that were never routed correctly. This here thermocouple, it used to be routed, it came out and down and around that. Well, okay, so here's the cover. Here is a side opening with a detent in there for a wire to pass through, and then the wire just kind of naturally goes right through there. So I've kind of figured that, yeah, it might have gotten a new fridge at some point, and whoever put it in did it goofy. So anyway, now the problem I'm running into is with some of this heat shielding. The new piping on the Amish unit is different than the piping on the original unit. This pipe here is sticking over farther than the old piping did. So what I had to do is some custom work on the heat shield here, or the shroud, or whatever it is, whatever they want to call it. So what I had to do is I had to trim this up because it was hitting on that pipe down there. Okay, so then I had to cut this slot in here so that the heat shield would slide all the way down. And the way that works is it goes on here like this. That piece goes under, this piece goes over. Okay, so there. That is the way that this is supposed to fit. So you see that it lines up with the hole in the cover underneath. So that's good. And this lines up with the chimney. Okay, so we have resolved a couple of issues. But yeah, so if you are going to change this thing, you have to be somewhat mechanically inclined because things are going to be different. And yeah, I am just hoping that everything is going to work out just fine for me. I haven't put this cover back on yet, but I decided to show you what I have going on here. So yeah, you have to relocate this valve here a little bit to help with the alignment. You have to cut out the round in the burner unit to fit onto the pipe, re-drill a hole and put a new screw into that. And then I had to also do some work on this to get it to fit. Okay, so I think I have just about restored all the old parts now, and I am going to, oh, excuse me, I'm going to, what am I going to do? Continue putting this together. So I need a couple of more little sheet metal screws, and that will just about do it. And then I'll put the cover on. Then I'm going to stand the fridge up and put it in place. And that is the exciting moment. Okay, so hang on and let us continue forward. Okay, so I have everything is all in and ready to go. I've got my wiring is attached and held in position. This is tied down here, and it's going to be held here. I got all the sheet metal cover plates on here. So I think I have one more piece of sheet metal I need to find, and that will be it. Not sure what these numbers mean. Okay, so that ground, I had to drill a hole for that. I got these here wires are coming out through the slot they were supposed to. And all the circuit board is reconnected. All right, when you are reassembling this chimney vent stack for the burner on the fridge, you have to make sure that you get all these heat shields and cover plates back in position, and they can be kind of confusing. But so we have this one here, and then we've got that one there that goes underneath,
And then we have the chimney has to come all the way down and sit on top of the burner unit. It has to seal in all those holes that are there for the flame, and make sure that that is enclosed so there's no chance of any kind of a flame getting out of there. Okay, so then there's a lot of stuff you're going to have to adapt because the fit is just different. The cover for the side here where the 120 volt heating element goes in had to be cut about 3/8 of an inch up so that it would fit in here. And then the mount bracket for the valve is different. We had to drill a hole for the ground, and then we also had to loosen the screws here to line things up and position them. We had to re-drill the hole here, and what else have we got? So anyway, take pictures of your unit before and during assembly, because that's what I did, and it will make your life go a lot better when you start putting things together and you're trying to figure out what the heck does this do. Okay, so now we have the chimney here is placed all the way down flat on top of this. It wanted to be up here higher, and so one of the things that happened here is this was not aligned with the hole here, this slot. So I aligned it, and then I was able to slide the pipe down over the valve. Here's the baffle here, but I was able to slide the pipe down on that, and then we were able to get it to sit tight on top of the burner box down here. And then also we had to do this adaptation here for the 120 volt electric heating element. Okay, so then I've got things are wired, zip tied. All the wires are inside of a protective split loom and routed neatly down here. Here is the drain, and this will just kind of sit down there. Okay, so this is the last piece that has to go on, and it will fit in here like that. And there is the hole for it. Okay, so I gotta do that, and then I have to drill a hole here for the attachment up there, and that will be it. I will have everything all done and connected on here. So yeah, we had to do a little bit of special work to fit the mounting plate for the electronic control board and the valve and all that assembly. And to get that assembly back on the fridge, we loosened up the screw here and here, so we were able to spread the leg or the foot out. Then we could slide the control unit up under the pipes here. And remember, we had to adapt over here so that that would be held in place. And remember the thing here, it this slides up, and then this here, you have to slot that. And so anyway, we got that wrapped up, and then over on this side here, we just put a new hole in the cooling unit frame and attached it. Okay, so just kind of take a look at things. The igniter and thermocouple go up in here, and you can see the gap between the orifice for the propane and the hole for the burner up in there. And here is the propane valve. So that's the last connection we got to make. We got to just lift the fridge up, put her in. Okay, we have the first fire up. So the fridge has been in for a couple of hours, and I figure that's probably long enough for the fluids to settle back down. Got it bolted in at the bottom. Everything is all nice here. Got the racks back in. The thermometers are just now excuse me, in there. So I guess we'll see how long it takes to cool down. Let's go take a look at the outside here. I am going to turn on the propane. Okay, so propane's on. Let's give it a bubble check here. Sniff check. Okay, I can definitely feel the heating element warming. And good, no bubbles. No bubbles. I like no bubbles. I can smell the electrical element in there. It's the first run, so you're going to have a little bit of a burning off of oils and stuff smell. So I can't really even see what is going on down there, but so that's probably just the smell of smoke, machine oil burning off, but I can feel it warming up. That's good. So I can tell that it's probably going to take a while before it is hot enough to cool. But okay, so yeah, anyway, there's a screw here and a screw there that hold down the tracks, the bottom brackets of the fridge. And so you just got to I had to take out this outlet here and pull it out so that I could get a screwdriver down on that. And to get on this screw here, I had to pull out the heat shield and the cover plate here. So now that I've got everything is all
screwed down. I'm happy everything is all fastened in the way it should be. And the heat shield is just about right. It's a zero clearance. Hopefully that's going to focus up there. But it's a zero clearance heat shield. And because the smokestack chimney for the fridge is all insulated, and then it's only a tube inside of it that goes up, so there's never any flame that touches anything, so it's going to only get as hot as 325 watts gets. And yeah, so I can still smell the initial machine oils and everything burning off, and then it's also going to do it with the yeah, the insulation. Everything here that is new is going to be burning off machining oil. But so you see here, this is the sheet, the heat shield for the heat duct, and so I've got about a it's got clearance in there, so that's good. And I can definitely feel this thing's starting to warm up now. So I guess I will just hang out here for a while, see how the temperature of the fridge goes, and hopefully it will impress me. And then I need to put some new putty or die-core or something to seal the hose and wires in place. So, okay. Good deal. I'm excited. And the grounds are all tight. Everything's tight. That's a good thing. Yeah, if you listen closely, you can just hear fluids starting to move. Everything is a good sign. Okay, let's go inside. Yeah, not feeling anything yet, but give it about half an hour. Okay. It's lunchtime. I'm going to get something to lunch. Okay, so I've just switched the gas on. So let's see if it ignites quickly or if the auto light kicks on. Usually takes, I think there's a 45-second timeout. Yeah, and there's the timeout. Off, on. So it'll take a time or two to do that. There goes the valve, kicks on. Okay, so at this point, it's probably working. Okay, let's go take a listen. Okay, you can see a little bit of smoke coming out of there now. Which is fine, that's just the new stuff. Okay. Okay, so I think I'll pull this cover off so that I can take a peek in there at the flame. Okay, so okay, yeah, that's a good flame. If you look at it here, okay, so I think you can see the flames coming out of there. Stupid thing won't focus. All right, the fridge has been on for about 24 hours right now. Currently it is in the auto mode, which means that it automatically chooses between gas or electric, preferring electric if we're plugged in, and we are plugged in. So it's been running on the electric 325 watt element for about 10 hours now since last night. Let's see what the temperatures inside here are. We've got, that's like just under 5 degrees in the freezer. That is very, very cold. And in the fridge we are at about 27 degrees. And that again is cold. You see we are below the food safe zone, so I'm going to raise the thermometer, the temperature sensing unit here, make it a little less cold inside, because all we want to do is food safe. Okay. So yeah, I am really liking the new cooling unit. That is working superb. Okay, good deal. Well, shoot, I guess it is time to clean up this camper. Okay, so here is the outside, and everything is looking good in here. There's the drain tube, no moisture coming out.
Okay, well, I guess the fridge is not cycling on because it's I can hold my hand on it, and the tank here is not warm either. So very, very nice. I'm liking this a lot. I think that putting in all this insulation here has definitely made a difference. You might be able to just see over there how close, tight the insulation on the side walls is to the fridge. So that is adding 3/4 of an inch R value to the fridge's compartment. There's no side-to-side gap. The fridge just slides snugly in between these two walls. That heat shield for the fireplace, or for the chimney here, I've got the heat duct is beneath or behind that, and it ends right up here at the top. I don't know if you can see the duct hose up there or not, but so anyway, very happy with this. Very, very happy. It is working, getting colder inside than ever before, and like I say, the heating element, I can feel it's warming up now. But yeah, very sweet. It's probably more work than I expected, but the results are good. Alrighty, so there you go, the Amish cooling unit. I'm gonna have to give that a big win. It is definitely colder than before by several degrees, and that is with full sun hitting the side of the truck camper here too. So that insulation inside here is probably working, helping. Okay, so winning project, insulating the fridge compartment, putting in a Dutch Aire or Amish Built cooling unit, making a few custom modifications to all the stuff to make it fit again. Very happy with it. About $1,000 for the entire job, and about 3-4 days worth of work. Well, actually, it probably took about 7 days total, removing it and separating everything and then putting it back together and getting everything set up the way I wanted it. So, not an easy job. It's you have to have some determination, some mechanical, technical ability. Anybody could do it, but the less skilled you are, obviously, the more difficult it would be. Okay, so that concludes this video. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something, and I will see you on the next video.